Oh, Hare
Oh,
Krishna.
finally, thanks God.
Hare Krishna, my dear Lord.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Today I have a special guest. His name is Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu. He is from Brazil, and his wife is from Russia. They both living in India. And today is a topic that so many followers usually ask me, like, how is the life of foreign devotees in India? First, I want to say that Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu already more than 30 years in Krishna consciousness, and he distributed the books already 18 years. Am I correct?
And I actually started distributing when I was young, when I was like 14, 15. That was 94, actually, I started.
Mm-hmm.
94. But I was not distributing the whole time. I distributed for a few years and I stopped, and then I started again, went for a few years more. Like 2, 3 million is from devotees now all over the world. So that's a lot of people, right?
Yes, yes. A lot of people outside of India interested about Krishna, interested about Krishna consciousness and Sanatana Dharma. And my first question to you:
Yes.
why did you came to India? What is special here? Especially, I'm always getting the question: why West Bengal? What is Manipur? What is special there? Why do you move here?
And Mayapur is the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, so it's a very, very special place. That's a place where we can easily get in contact with the spiritual world, right? We read about the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. We read about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, like in Navadvipa. But actually, Navadvipa that is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita is where what we call now Mayapur. The city of Navadvipa that we have on the other side of the river actually is a new city. It was constructed later, after the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. The pastimes of
Mhm,
Mahaprabhu happened on this side of the river where the new temple is being built. So
mhm,
actually, we come to live here, we are living exactly in the same place where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was executing his pastimes. So it's a very spiritually charged place. No, it has a lot of spiritual potency here. So that's a place where we can practice spiritual life with with much more enthusiasm than practically anywhere else in the world. So it's a very good place to practice and to advance spiritually.
mhm.
It's a very powerful
Means,
place.
mhm.
Yes.
Is it something changed in your life when did you move to India? Means like some practice, I don't know, your life, like just anything.
Yes, when we are trying to practice Krishna consciousness in Brazil, I was living in Russia also, right? We are trying to practice Krishna consciousness in a kind of uh, like extraneous environment, right? In a different, like strange environment that doesn't agree so well with Krishna consciousness. And it's interesting when you are trying to preach, when you are trying to spread it to other people, right? Because then you, of course, will get in contact with other people who are not practicing Krishna consciousness, but you may speak to them about Krishna consciousness. But when it comes to a phase of your life that, now I really want to go deep in the process, right? I want to improve my own Krishna consciousness. Then it's very
Mm.
valuable to live in a holy place, like to live in Mayapur, to live in Vrindavan, to live in Jagannath Puri, all these places. Or there are other holy places also. There are so many holy places in India. Because these holy places, they are so spiritually charged, right? They have this spiritual quality that
Mhm.
we don't find in other places, right, around the world.
How did you get this decision? Means who who has more desire to move here, or it was a desire from both sides? How did you? Because it's not easy to move to another country with absolutely different things. Like lifestyle here is different.
When we got married, we already had this plan of living here in
Oh,
Mayapur,
okay.
but it took a few years to be able to really move. For many years, we were like coming and
Yes.
going, like most devotees. Right? And then eventually there was this opportunity to
Mhm.
come and stay.
Do you feel it's India your home?
Yeah, Ah, I understand. Ah,
Yeah.
yes, of course. That's our home now. We don't plan to leave. Only to go
Okay, good.
sometimes to some place and just to go to speak something to people
Hmm.
about Krishna consciousness, not to go to live in another place.
Hmm. Yeah, there's always I'm getting questions like, why Krishna consciousness? Why Sanatana Karma? What is attracting you in this?
Actually, Prabhupada, he explains this point, and that's something that we can realize as we practice Krishna consciousness, that actually Krishna consciousness is not just another faith, because we have different faiths, right? We have Christianity, we have Islam, we have Buddhism, right? And people change from one to the other, right? So one is Christian, then he
Hmm.
becomes Muslim, the Muslim becomes, I don't know, Buddhist, the Buddhist becomes, Christian or whatever, right? People are changing all the time, and there are so many wars and so many things. But uh, but Krishna consciousness is different from this because Krishna consciousness is the real eternal nature of the soul. So if someone says I'm a Christian or I'm a Muslim or I'm a Buddhist, this is a label. This is actually a material designation. Just like if I say I'm American, I'm Russian, I'm I don't know, I'm French, right? These are material designations.
Hmm.
Similarly, if I say I'm Christian, I'm a Muslim, and so on, that's also a material designation, and that's why people fight over it. But Krishna consciousness is different. Krishna consciousness is the eternal nature of the soul. That's the dharma of the soul. We have this word dharma. Usually, we use this word dharma in the sense of religion, right? Even in the dictionary, some dictionaries they give dharma as religion, but actually, dharma in Vedic literature it has a deeper meaning. Dharma means the eternal characteristic, the characteristic that you can't separate from something. So, for example, the dharma of sugar is to be sweet. Like if someone gives you a white powder that is not sweet, and he tells this is sugar, you say, no, 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 this is not sugar. I know what sugar is. This is not sugar, this is something else, right? So similarly, the dharma of the soul, the characteristic, the intrinsic characteristic that you can't separate, that's Krishna consciousness. That's the propensity of service to Krishna, to the Lord, right? So
Hmm.
this is the essential, this intrinsic characteristic of the soul, and that's what Prabhupada came to teach us, to become free from these different material designations, from these different isms, right? And become
Hmm.
fixed in your eternal identity.
But means like, what has attracted you? You said me about philosophy, but what was not enough in your life? Means like, did you suffer a lot? It means like, why did you started uh, to to search something, or maybe what has attracted you? Like you see, like, oh, this is something like different from means like this is your experience, not just philosophy.
The experience is that in Krishna consciousness we have everything that we have, in like other like so-called normal life, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
difference is that in Krishna consciousness everything is better.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it attractive, right? Of course, people can come to Krishna consciousness for different reasons. Oh, I was suffering before. I was, in difficulties. I had problems in relationship or whatever. I was curious. I wanted this or that. I was in search for knowledge. I was curious. So people can come for different reasons, but what
Mm-hmm.
keeps people in Krishna consciousness is exactly this quality that we have everything, but everything is better than outside. So why I should leave? Once you start practicing and you get a little bit of taste for it,
Mm-hmm.
no, everything is better. Music's better. The food is better. The relationships are better, right? No, everything is better. So that's what
Mm-hmm.
attracts us to here. A festival every day, like starting from the morning, right? Well, here in Mayapur, we have festivals starting, 4:30 in the morning, right? 4:30 in
Yeah.
the morning, Mangalarti, and then, no, Nishinradeva Tulasi Puja, right? And then 7 o'clock there is the greetings of the deities, that even bigger festival. And then midday there is another one, then there is another one in the afternoon, 6:30, Sandhya Artik. And, the whole day is festival. There is Harinam, that we
Mm-hmm.
can join. right? So everywhere, like that's what people dream about, right? People they work the whole day and they think that oh, Friday I can go out, with my
Yes, yes,
friend to some, club, and have some, party there. But you have party every day, multiple times per day, right? And these festivals they have such a taste because everything is
mm,
connected with Krishna, right? And
yes,
it brings us this
yes.
transcendental taste that you don't have, going to the nightclub or doing, other things. So that's for me at least what attracts. But I guess for other people also, that's what, in the end of the day, that's what keeps them in Krishna consciousness, that makes them not want to go back.
Mm. Is your family, what was the reaction of your family? Because, I think for Brazil, people in Brazil, it's not like something common, like you follow Krishna consciousness. What was the reaction
No,
of your parents?
actually, in Brazil, it's kind of open. People they don't have much, prejudice, because there in Brazil there are many different religions. There is not like a national religion that oh everyone
Mm-hmm.
in Brazil must be, Christian or this
Mm-hmm.
or that. There is a lot of Christians there, but even when we speak about Christians, it's not just one type of Christianity. They have so many different
Yes.
types of Christians there, and they believe in different things. And there is also some Muslims. There are, all kinds of people there. So in terms of people in Brazil, they are open in terms of religion. They don't fight much about that. My parents, they were not so positive because they are kind of materialists, and that's the problem. When a person is materialist, any
Mm-hmm.
kind of religion going to be against, right? Because he's just, not interested in God. So that was the difficulty.
Next question is like, what's the difficult you faced here in India? Like, what was something was unexpected, or maybe something like was like maybe difficult to handle, or still maybe difficult to accept? Something like maybe some, not only just the spiritual things, just any other thing.
Yeah, I understand. In general, like me personally, I don't have many difficulties here. For me, it's very easy to live here
Mm,
in India. Like the climate, like of course in the summer is a little hot, but could be a little cooler, but it's not something like oh, terrible. Right? It's okay,
mm-hmm,
in when it comes like November, December, then the climate is quite comfortable.
mm-hmm,
And one good thing, at least here in Mayapur, is that the climate is very stable. Right? You don't have like, for example, in Brazil, you have sometimes, is 10 degrees in the morning, then it's like 35 during the days, then in the afternoon it rains and you have rain, these ice storms. And then, you have, the four seasons in the same day. The region here is good because it's not such a like megalopolis, like big city like Mumbai or something. It's still a little bit agrarian. We still have boats, to cross the river and cows everywhere and so on. And it's not so far from there from Calcutta, right? And now the road is becoming better. They are improving the road. So no, for me at least, it's
So
quite comfortable to live
for your
here.
wife,
And, and my wife complains of the heat. The problem for her is the heat, right? But
yeah, yeah.
no,
It's like
that
for me, who was born in
uh,
Russia, for us, it's like, oh, sacrificing.
but anyway, there is AC, right? With AC, it's not so bad. So we use AC for Krishna.
Yes, yes, yeah.
But if you speak about Russia, for example, with Russia, in the winter you can have minus 30, like I don't know if it's much better than plus or minus 30 than plus 30.
Sometimes we laughing with friends, we say like, oh, in this material world, you cannot find any best place on this earth because somewhere is too cold, somewhere too hot.
There's no perfect place anyway,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
why bother? It's better to just accept what we get and just try to take the best out of it.
Mm. Yeah, I
Because,
like your positive thinking.
But it's like that, Tell me a place in the world that is perfect, that, oh,
Yes.
perfect life, This problem, if
Yeah.
the climate, there is war, like
Yes.
so many countries,
Exactly. Yes. Yes. True. True.
and or there is some economic crisis, like Argentina. Like Argentina has, quite nice climate, but they are always in economic crisis, every year.
Yeah, next question is people usually asking me what is Mayapur, and you already said yes, this is a place of Lord Chaitanya. But can you say a little bit like because people absolutely don't know here is a big international community, people coming from all the world, and can you say like a few words like why people should come here? What is special? Just not only because of a place of Lord Chaitanya, what they can do here? Can you please share?
So first of all, Mayapur is unique in the world because like that's the real United Nations, right?
Yes,
They
yes,
do
true.
this United Nations, they go there and they just fight, right? But Mayapur is the place, is the maybe the only place in the world that will have people from all over the world, and
Yes,
everyone's living together and everyone is friend to each other. You have people from Russia, from Ukraine, from United States, from India, from Pakistan, from
yes,
China. And everyone is friend. Everyone is, friendly to each other. So that's first thing. That's the real United Nations, right? You are not going to find, best example of unity between all nations than, Michael. And then another point is that is a spiritual community. So it's like in any place of the world, people are living for each other, for themselves. Like everyone is caring about himself, or maybe
mm,
at best to his family. Right? I want to become rich, or I want to make my family rich. I want to improve my social position, or whatever goals they have. But there are always like egoistic goals. It's very rare to find
mm-hmm,
someone who is not into it. And then here in Michael we have the something different. We have a community where people they are trying to improve their relationship with God, and that's the main goal of everyone,
mm-hmm,
or almost everyone, right? So that's also something different that we someone can come and experience, that a community where the goal is not to just make money and improve social position and marry the daughters or whatever. And then you have a community where the goal is to improve our relationship with God, to come close to God, and ultimately to go back to Godhead, right? To not take another birth in this material world. I made a video these days, right? That I found some MRI of the baby inside the womb, and the
yes,
baby, kicking and screaming, trying
mm-hmm,
to get out of the womb. So it's not such a very comfortable position, and we all have to go through it, for 9 months, or at least 2 or 3 months after we become conscious inside the womb. Uh, every time that we take birth, it's not such a, it's not such a nice, such a comfortable experience. And of course, after we take birth, it's also not so easy, to grow up, all the crises of, teenage years, and so many difficulties, sometimes the parents they don't understand us very well, or we don't find good friends, and so on and so forth. It's not an easy thing, to take birth, and to die is also, of course, very difficult. And but this human life, it offers us this opportunity of finishing this cycle, right? Of this samsara, right? And
mm-hmm,
becoming a soul again, right? Going back to our eternal position as souls, not just going from one body to the other. And that's something that devotees here in Mayapur, that we try to achieve, right, in this life. We try to restore our connection with Krishna, and we try to go back to Godhead in this life, right? So that's different. That's something that you don't see in many places.
yes. Our question is like I have a few of my friends here. They also visit Mayapur and they say like we are missing Mayapur. It's really special place. It's really uh, like United. What is it? United Union about all the people from all the countries. Yes. What will you suggest to young generation who is only starting the spiritual way? and they even don't know how to start, what to do. Like maybe they confused because I know so many Indian families now, like especially the parents, they so much focused on like the children should get some education, like don't distract your mind for spiritual things, like something like this. What will be your suggestion to a young generation? Not only
First
young,
of
maybe to everyone.
all, we need to try to understand what is our tendency, what is our like propensity or talent, right? Because few people they may, have this propensity to become renunciants, to become, brahmacharis and so on, go to live in the temple and so on. But this is relatively rare, and mainly men may have this tendency. Like 99% of young people, what they will have to do is that they will go to family life because that's the tendency, for practically everyone, right? To find some, you know, to find our other half and get married and go into family life. And when we come to family life, of course, there is this need of balancing, spiritual practice and also, like material resources, right? Because we need a place to live, we need to eat, we need all these basic things. And for this, of course, a person needs to have, some profession or some kind of, special education, some means, to find, to maintain himself or to open some business or to get some kind of job and so on. And it's not like unfavorable for spiritual life to receive an education and so on, because in the future this may allow you to be more peaceful in spiritual life. Because if one doesn't have means to maintain his family, right, then he has his anxiety, or he has to work so much in some underpaid job just to get the basics, just to be able to survive, and it becomes difficult to practice spiritual life in these conditions. But if someone has the opportunity of having a more or less peaceful material situation, if he's not greedy, because that's the problem. Sometimes people become greedy. They already have enough, but they want more and more and more, right? Then they start working like donkeys to try to get more money, bigger house, bigger car, whatever. But if a person has already, normal, like peace, comfortable material conditions, and he's not greedy, then he can find a comfortable and stable position to practice his spiritual life. That he can have, a normal job, work 8 hours, 5 times per week, or something like that. And the rest of the time, he can spend some time with his family. He can, chant, his japa. He can study the books. He can go to the temple. He can travel sometimes to go to some festival or to visit Vrindavan, Mayapur. So this is the ideal position for a devotee who is not like in renounced life, who is in family life. So it's not unfavorable now to receive some education, to develop some skills when we are young, and then this can be useful for us later in life. So it's not necessary to reject this. The parents usually they know about that, so that's why often they insist that that the children they get some education and so on, and that's not necessarily bad. That's their their care. But the point is that we need to go through it without losing track of what is really essential in our lives. That is our spiritual practice, right? Spiritual practice must be the priority, and then other things that we do on the material side, we also do, but no, they are kind of secondary. Like we put the main emphasis on doing our spiritual practice every day, waking up, chanting japa, following the principles and so on. Okay.
This people asking a lot of questions.
Okay.
People ask what is the karma yoga?
What is karma yoga? That's Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, right? If you go to third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it's called karma yoga. comes from one, there are two words there, karma. Karma means action, right? So karma means when we work, when we try to achieve things in life, we go to work, we build a house, we get a child, whatever. So this is karma, when we do these different activities. Yoga means connection with Krishna. So karma yoga means when we do these material activities, you know, fulfill our duties in family life or in society and so on. But we do this in connection with Krishna. And that's a very easy process that Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita. Because not everyone can, renounce and go to living meditate in the Himalayas in the snow or something like that. Right? Most of us, we will try to practice spiritual life, with our families or or after getting married and so on. So, great part of our day will be uh, centered around these, material activities, right? We take care of our children, we go to work, we go and, drive the children to school and, do different things, right? So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna teaches us how to do these things as an offering to Him. And then it's not just karma, it's not just material activity. These activities, they become spiritualized, and and they help us to actually progress in spiritual life. They connect us with Krishna. So that's actually a very important secret in spiritual life, to learn this process of karma yoga, that is explained in the Bhagavad Gita.
Next question about your daughter. What's the principle you following by raising her? Like, what is difference between Vaishnava culture and between Western culture? Means like this is my question, and people also asked about this. My subscribers, like, what's the principle you following?
Actually, the main thing about raising child is to give the example. That's the main thing. Nothing beats it. No, you can teach you can speak so many things to the child, but if the child sees you doing different, he's not going to follow you. He's not going to listen to you. The classical example, right? Oh, you need to go to the church, but the parent doesn't go to the church. Then the child will learn that. I shouldn't go to the church. Why? No, my parents are not going. Actually, we don't need to tell so much to try to convince the child you need to do this or that. We just do ourselves, and the child starts following us. It's automatically like Ramania. She starts paying obeisances when she goes to the temple when she was like 1 year. 1 year, 3 months, something like that. It was right after she started walking. And I was not telling her, oh, you need to pay obeisances, no? But every time we go to offer obeisances, and then she started doing the same thing.
Yes.
And she likes to do it, to tell her. She just goes to the temple and she sees and she offers obeisances, she offers dandavats. She likes to do dandavats. I think it's easier for her. So, and she does, because she just sees, others doing. And the same thing for everything else, She started offering, liking to, she got 2 dolls of Gorditai, right? So she likes to offer, what she's going to eat to them because, that's what we do. So she does the same. She learns that, oh, that's that's cool, I also want to do like this. So when we show proper example to the children, they learn and they follow and they feel happy and comfortable doing it. And then you don't need to tell them anything, they do by themselves. But when we don't do something and we try to, force the children to do that, then they rebel, then they don't want to do, and then just becomes this struggle. Another thing also is to show affection to the children because often the parents they have this kind of conditional love that, oh, if you do like this I love you, if you don't do then I hate you, right? And they kind of try to manipulate the child with this, right, love and hate, to do what they want them to do. But this is also not good. The children, they may accept this when they are small, but as soon as they become a little bigger, like teenagers, they see that they have other options in life, then they go away from they distance
Yes.
themselves from the parents. So we need to show this unconditional love to the child, that I just love you because what you are, not what you are doing. You can do this or you can do that. You have free will, and I accept that. And
Mm-hmm.
when we show this love to the child, then the child becomes safe with the parents. And feeling safe with the parents, then they want to follow what the parents are doing.
Mm-hmm. Means like if to say short what you said, like we have to love unconditionally our children, and we have to just to show them example of life. That's like a
It's
natural.
actually very easy to raise a child, guys. We just need to understand these two principles. We just love the children, and we show good example, and that's
Yes.
all. And you just a few things you tell, oh, this is right, this is wrong, few things, and that's all. Basically, it's actually not so hard to raise a
Mm-hmm.
child in this sense of education. It's hard in the
Mm-hmm.
sense that they wake up at night, they become sick, these normal things, right?
Yes.
But in terms of education, it's actually quite straightforward.
Yes, and as you said, like if they feel this manipulation from parents, of course they don't have any example how to love unconditionally, and they automatically they start to live the same life. They don't know what is like normal relationship because they know only manipulation.
Yes,
Yes.
manipulation. Sometimes the parents they use force, right, against the
Yeah. Yeah.
children, right? Like the father said, "Oh, you need to obey me because I'm stronger than you. If you don't obey,
Yes.
I'm going to hit you."
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Then they also learn like that, Then they like the father beats the child beats the dog, or the smaller children, right? And
Yes.
then as they grow up like this, and then they beat the wife, they beat their own children, and it goes on like that, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
this chain of violence right, that
Mm-hmm.
starts at home. Similarly on the this if the parents they are manipulative, right? They try to manipulate, then the child also learns like that, also becomes a manipulative
Mm-hmm.
person. Of course, later on a person may get in contact with other people, other ideas and change. But
Mm-hmm.
that's from where he starts, right? He starts from this, from what he's learning from the parents.
Yes. So true. That is like a very big topic about children. It can be separate life.
We can speak 7 days about
Yeah, yeah, because
education.
I see now so many things like the parents they asking like why children don't do this, why don't do that, why don't follow me or what because of something wrong in relationship and everyone has they own desires and their own karma also because I also can see like some of devotees they forcing their child like not to follow something but we cannot choose their way we can show them something, but we cannot choose.
Yes, yeah. That you see, actually, like in modern times, right? There are so many theories, right, about educating children, and they are very contradictory, right? Each one speaks a different thing. But if we go to the Vedas, we see that actually, what the Vedas teach about, children education are these two principles of showing good example and showing and giving love to the children. Even in the like Gurukula system, right? That's a kind of polemical topic. But what we call Gurukulas nowadays, they're not Gurukulas at all. It's some modern invention.
Yes,
Vedic, they're based actually in a completely different principle than what people think about Gurukulas nowadays. Vedic Gurukulas, they are based on the same two principles of example and love. So a child, the child gets good example from the parents, right? When the child is small, and then when the child becomes a little bigger, he goes to the Gurukula. But what the Gurukula, like in Vedic principle of Gurukula is just a couple of Brahmanas. So they are a family. They have their own children, and what they do is that they get a few other children, and they form like kind of like a big family, and
mm-hmm.
they teach all these children. So they treat all these children that are coming to study there like their own children, and they show the example and they teach these children. So it's just like another family environment. The only difference is that the parents, because they're brahmanas, they know more. They can teach, things to these children that, maybe the parents they are not able to teach, all kind of, different arts and different types of knowledge. But you see that it's based on the same principle of giving good example and giving love to the child, right? And that's what works. That's what, Vedic model is. There are, like, inside of these two principles you can, change this or that. But if you
Mhm.
take out two principles, then nothing works. Then everything will be a failure. Right? These are the two principles, two main principles.
Yeah, I agree. In between is a question from here. What is actually need to learn in life?
Interesting. What is the most important things in life? And it's interesting that, there is a story of King Parikshit, right? King Parikshit, he was the king of the whole world, and he was cursed by this Brahmana boy, Shringi. He was a boy, but he was already, powerful. So he cursed him to die in 7 days, bitten by a snake. So now Parikshit, he had only 7 days to live. Not his days were numbered, and he
Mm-hmm.
approached Sukadeva Goswami, right? The great sage Sukadeva Goswami, and he made this question to Sukadeva Goswami: what is the most important thing for a person who is about to die? Right? And Sukadeva Goswami, he gave this answer that the most important thing is to practice Krishna consciousness, to learn to always remember Krishna and never forget him. And then we may
Mm-hmm.
say that, okay, he had only 7 days to live, so that's understandable, right? He was going to die next week, but we are young. We have, so many years to live. Maybe we can do something else. But the point is that actually we are actually in worse situation than Maharaj Parikshit, because the curse that Maharaj Parikshit receives from this Brahmana was that he was going to live to die in 7 days. Means he's not going to die before 7 days. No, he has this assurance that he's going to live 7 days to be beaten by the snake, right? So he knows that he has 7 days to live. But how many of
Mm-hmm.
us can make a statement that I'm going to live 7 days or more? We don't know,
Mm-hmm.
right? We can die tomorrow. We can die, before the end of this stream. We don't know. Something can happen, right? So many
Yes.
things can happen, right? And no, we may die at any moment. So actually, we don't know if we have 7 days to live. Maybe not. Maybe we'll have less than 7 days. So actually, this question that Maharaj Parikshit asked, what is really important in life, actually is a question that is very relevant to all of us, right? And the answer of Sukadeva Goswami is also very interesting. Like, those are actually the points. The most important thing is to learn this process of always remembering Krishna, never forgetting him. Because this remembrance of Krishna is what is going to bring us back to Godhead, back to the spiritual world, at the end of our lives. That is going to bring us back to our original consciousness as souls.
Mm.
So that's
Thank you.
what we need to learn.
Yeah,
And everyone should learn this.
for
How
good
to always
answer.
remember Krishna, never forget him.
Yes.
That's the most important thing of all.
For everyone who joined new, we talking about life forging people in India, not only in India, but we are already talking about Krishna consciousness. Whenever we go, doesn't matter where we live, we always follow in Krishna consciousness. Next question for you. Mm, mm, yes, it's from my subscribers. She was asking like, what about your own culture? Means like you was born in Brazil and your wife was born in Russia. Did you
Mm-hmm.
had some friction in your family, like something different, or maybe your how to say it, mentality, or maybe some thinking, something like? She was asking, did you have this, and how do you handle it? And now she asking, like, you both follow in Vaishnava culture. Do you have some disagreement because of different mentality?
Actually, when both are devotees of Krishna, when both are following, because when both are devotees of Krishna means that they basically follow the same culture, right? Vaishnava culture. So this, cultural thing, it becomes much less because, actually we follow the same culture, right? We are both trying to be
Yeah.
devotees of Krishna. So the culture is the same. It's actually closer than if you have two persons of the same country. Because, the two persons may be from the same country. They may both be from India or both from Brazil or both
Mm-hmm.
from Russia. But doesn't mean that they think the same. Right? Probably not, right? There are so many different, so many different ways of thinking inside the same country.
Mm-hmm.
But when you practice Krishna consciousness, actually this is the biggest, sign of compatibility because they have the same goal. So it's actually, it makes it much easier,
Mm-hmm.
actually. So yeah, of course there are always small things, not everybody will agree on everything, right? But this is manageable, right? Because the main goals in life are similar.
Mm-hmm. Am I understand right that if you have the same goal, our things becoming more easy and it's easy to handle it, to manage it, like if your main goal is same, right?
Imagine that you are, handcuffed to another person, right?
Mm-hmm.
You two are handcuffed. Now you need to go together. If you two are going on the same direction anyway, it's not a big problem to be handcuffed, right? You can just go together, right?
Yes.
Have someone to talk. But if one wants to go in one direction, the other wants to go in the other direction, then it's going to be a problem, right? Then you are going to, I
Yes.
don't know, have to fight, and one is going to have to carry the other or something like that, or carry his non-conscious body or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. So yeah, so that's something that people often don't realize. Now you see people nowadays choosing who to
Mm-hmm.
marry and based on how much he earns. That's absurd. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You need to choose someone who has similar goals in life, and then you can peacefully, walk in the same direction. Otherwise, at every step we're going to be fighting, where we are going.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be a happy life.
I agree. But in the same time, I have heard like some of our family they have some problem like from different country means like you have a different background, and
Uh-huh.
of course we expecting something and we think, oh, why he or she is doing this? For me, it's like it's a normal thing. Why is he or he doing this?
Yes. Yeah, but like you said, I think these smaller things they are kind of manageable. You can live with that and little by little adjust. But if the goal
Mm-hmm.
in life is different, then what you are going to do, you just want to go in opposite directions. How you are going to reconcile that?
Mm-hmm. Okay, means Krishna consciousness uniting people, and doesn't matter
Yeah,
from which country you are. If you go in same direction, this can be family.
yeah, exactly.
Yes,
That's
that's that's why in Krishna consciousness so many international families who really they don't see any difference when you're going same way. You're following same principles. Uh, mm, you're following same philosophy.
that's the idea.
I'm just trying to read the question. 5 pillars of dharma. Oh, okay. And by learning this, you only feel the Paramatma in you. And this the main things the human need to learn in life. To feel him as okay.
Paramatma inside. Maybe we
Okay.
can talk about that
Yeah.
Paramatma. Quite understand. It's quite interesting that the Vedas explain that God is together with us inside the heart. Right? Often we think that God is very far away. He's there, in heaven or wherever, and I'm here, and He doesn't care about me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm alone here. But no, actually, God is the most intimate friend. We share the same heart, right? The soul and the super soul, God,
Mm-hmm.
He's inside the heart. So He's actually the closest friend. And another thing about Paramatma is that Paramatma is always with us, no matter where we go. Right? It's an interesting point. Like, not only He goes with us, through any body that we go, But in any situation, he's always with us. Like, for example, if one has to go to jail, his friends are not going to go with him, right? The wife are not going to go with him, right? Your husband asks, "Oh, can you go to jail with me?" You say, "No," right? Thank you very much, but no, thank you, right? Or any of your friends. But Paramatma goes, Krishna goes with you anywhere, right? And he's always inside our heart, and he's always together with us. So see, this shows the mercy and the concern of Krishna, and this is possible because we have an eternal relationship with him, right? The soul comes from the Lord, comes from Krishna. But because we have free will, often we misuse this free will, and then we use this free will to come here to the material world and try to become independent gods here. But still, even though we may have been trying to forget him for many lives, still Krishna is following us. He's inside of our hearts all the time. And we just need to turn to him, right? And we will find, or we.
My last question, what is the benefits in the Vaishnava culture if we will compare like Vaishnava culture and Western culture? What is benefits? Like why we're following this and why people should follow it?
Like that, there is not really culture in the sense that we imagine, like culture in the sense of, relationships, human values, and so on. Like people, they just, try to live, any way they can, and everyone thinks, everyone has some idea, but there's not really like culture in this, strict sense, like like when we think about Vedic culture, for example. So that everyone has a similar goal and things are organized to facilitate this goal, right? In Western cultures, is individuals, every man and woman for himself, right? And then there is so much confusion, there is so much different opinions, and it's very difficult in this sense. Of course, in India also we have, because of course in India we have also a lot of people trying to follow the same, individualism, the same hedonism, right? And therefore there are also problems, but at least in India we have still we see still people have some, they have some, good qualities, like in terms of human relationships, in terms of piety. So it's easier to connect, for me at least, it's easier to connect with people in India than, in most Western countries.
It's easy. What?
It's easier to connect with people.
Hmm. People asking, where are you now? We are in Mayapur, Mayapur, West
Yeah.
Bengal, the place
Yes.
of yes, the place of Lord Chaitanya.
Next time we need to do a stream, in front of the river or something like that, so people see that we are really Mayapur.
Yeah. Next time I will put here, like, some label. We are in Mayapur. Because somebody texted, I'm also coming to Mayapur. Okay,
Please let
welcome.
us know. People are coming and going.
Uh, the question is, that is the most of active person here. They asked a lot of questions. Why Sri Krishna has been called
Like,
Yuga Avatar? Because pronunciation is different and they texting different. When I'm texting, when I'm reading, I understand. Oh, yes, Yuga Avatar. Yeah.
Krishna, he comes, in many different forms. There are so many incarnations of Krishna appearing in each creation of the universe, right? And then we have these Yuga avatars that they appear in each Yuga. At the end of Dwapara Yuga, Krishna appears. He comes as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he also fulfills this role of being the Yuga avatar for Dwapara Yuga. And then in Kali Yuga, he comes again as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he brings that Dharma for the age, that is the chanting of the holy names. He brings the process of self-realization for the age, right? The chanting of the holy names. Then this is very important because without this process of self-realization, what we are going to be doing here, right? We will just become degraded and go to hell. But because Lord Chaitanya comes as the Yuga Avatar and he brings this process of chanting the holy names, then we have this opportunity of practicing the spiritual process and going back to Godhead, right, at the end of this life. And even if we don't go back to Godhead in this life, even if we are not determined enough or whatever, even if we can't finish the process in this life, still there is no loss because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Suchinam Srimatan Gehe Yoga Brasta Vijayati, that even if a devotee he is not able to go back to Godhead in this life, the next life he takes birth in a pious or in a well-to-do family. So he is born as a human being in a situation where he will have facility to continue his spiritual path, right? Because if he's born in a pious family, then he receives, good spiritual education and so on. If he's born in a well-to-do family, he has, good material facilities and he have, means of finding, and practicing the spiritual knowledge again.
Mhm.
And Krishna, as Paramatma from inside the heart, he kind of guides us to find again and start again practicing the next life. So whatever point we stop or practice in this life, next life we continue from this point that we stopped, right? So we can continue, right? So that's the beauty of Krishna consciousness, right? There is always a second chance and a third chance and a fourth chance. No, we never lose whatever progress we can make, right, in this process. Everything else we lose with that, right? We don't take the cars, the house, the money, the wife, the husband. Everything stays. But this
Mhm.
spiritual practice and the spiritual progress that we can do in this life, that's what we take with us, right?
Mhm. That's true. That was the best news for me when I came to Krishna consciousness. Said, "Oh my God, finally something is not will be not removed. Will be no means like it's not temporary." That
Yes.
when I listened about this first time, when I heard about this, I said it was like fantastic for me. Something like which I could not expect, like which was always in my mind since childhood. I always felt like something is missing in this life. Something is like I always felt like what is the meaning of life? Like what is everything will be finished? Why we marry? Why we studying? Why everything if we will die? But when I heard about this, that we are not losing about our spiritual practices, I said, "Oh Krishna, thanks for answering
That's
finally."
what I do, right?
Yes, our things, yes, will be lost.
Because all these material things that we people, they so much, go after in life, they put so much importance on it.
Yes.
When something is temporary, something it doesn't really have much value. Just like if someone comes to you and he says, "Oh, I will make you a millionaire. I will give you 1 million euros for 5 minutes."
Mm.
No, what is this? Okay, he will be a millionaire for 5 minutes. What's the point, right?
Mm.
What we will do in 5 minutes? What we will enjoy in 5 minutes, right? As soon as you get the money is taking out, is taking away from you. But all things are more or less like that. We get like even like you get like mansion to live, some beautiful house, like
Mhm.
but but then you are going to live there for only 30 years, 40 years, 20
Mhm.
years. Then you have to leave. So it's the same principle that you get something that you want, but you can't keep it. You can just have some illusion for a few years. Oh,
Mhm.
this is, and then it's taken away from you.
Mhm.
So it's not really an advantage if you think like in the absolute term. It's better to use our time to cultivate something that is eternal, something that we can take with us. Right?
Yeah. On this positive note, we will finish our live stream. Thank you so much for everyone who joined. Thank you so much to Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu, who found his precious time between his busy schedule And thanks everyone for your questions, for being with us. And my request for everyone who joined, just I will save this live stream in my account, in account of Chaitanya Chandracharan. It will be collaboration saved. Please just text some comment or maybe feedback or maybe like or something, just to see how many people have been here. I don't know because somebody was coming and going, but
More
still.
than 1,000 probably.
Yeah, we'll see. Yes, thank you so much to everyone. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Agora, se Sheila Prabhupada.